background of me and Mar. I am going to start off on pretty much the entire story. So we both had the same major at university. Actually, I came in as an IT major, and then I changed to advertising and PR. She was in the program as well. And when you're in the program with somebody, but you never talk. So the last year of senior project, my teacher, Christy Frudenrich, and her teacher as well, wanted me to join the advertising club, which is the senior project, because she wanted me to present, because I can talk very well in front of crowds. Who knew? So I get into the entire club and everything, and still we're just doing classwork, like nothing. And at the time, I didn't really think I would have a shot with her. So you kind of just put that into the back of your mind. So this is the part I'm just going to speed through so it's not too boring. And you guys don't fall asleep because you look hungry. Like you are looking at me like, dude, we have sat here, we've waited. She's out, you're out. Dismiss us so we can eat. I'm coming. So what ended up happening, it's the last year. Like everything's done, everything's ended. And she's graduating. So I came to the conclusion that if I tell her I like her and she rejects me, I never have to see her again. She's graduating, she's going back to Denver. I was graduating that fall, so I never have to see her again. So that was my game plan. That way, okay, maybe some of you don't know because the majority of you are married, but for those of you who are single and are still trying to figure it out, imagine rejecting someone and then every day you wake up and you have to see them and you're in the same major, you're in the same class. So my game plan was like, if she says no, yeah, she's gone. So I don't have to see her again. So I tell her one evening, it's absolutely hilarious. I tell her, hey, I really like you. And this was her response, thank you. Wow. So one of my friends asked me, so how did it go, bro? I'm like, I don't preaching at a church in Los Angeles. We have a Miracle Center branch in Los Angeles. So my mom was preaching, and she's like, hey, come to LA, let's spend some time together. It would be great to see you. So I go to see my mom. Me and Mar had been texting, and the plan was like, she's not coming back to Tulsa. She's done. She's back in Denver. So I didn't know when I was going to see her because when I get done, I'm coming back here. So I was debating on like, hey, maybe I like travel or go see her or whatever, but I hadn't made up my mind. So one evening, my mom, we go to the mall and my mom's like, hey, let's have dinner somewhere. So there was this really nice restaurant. And it was outside the Beverly Center in Los Angeles. It's called Rio. So we went there. And again, I know this might go over some of you people's heads, but in the Kayanja family, like, we talk a lot. Like, we talk about everything. Yes, a lot. So, my mom sits down and she says, Rob, when I met your dad and he asked me out, he didn't have everything and he took his shot. And I didn't know where my mom was going with this. Because how many of you have ever had like the whole dating conversation with your mom? Your dad's is different, but your mom's is like, so I didn't know where she was going with this at the restaurant. So she goes down this list of, so in life, you just have to try. And I was like, I didn't know whether it was God, because she had no clue. And I'm coming to that part of how she had no clue. I'm coming. So we get back to the hotel, I'm laying on my bed, and then it dawns on me, like, just buy the ticket and go. So I bought the ticket with my mom. Like, she was next door, she didn't know. Bought the ticket, I'm gonna go to Denver, and I'll see. Like, worst case scenario, I haven't told anybody yet. So again, if this doesn't work out, I failed quietly. we know some people who try some things out and everyone knows they've tried and it's just not working. So now what was funny about that restaurant, me and my dad went there in LA, same restaurant, in the fall of 2014. And I think it was fall 2014, but we went to the same restaurant. And my dad kind of had the same conversation with me there too. But that was like years before my mom had the same conversation. So pretty much I tell two people I am going to Denver. Two. One of them was Caleb Worley, the other was Aaron Johnson. Both of them my mentors, and they were both my bosses because I was working at Victory Christian Center, which is right across the street from ORU. And I sat down with Caleb and his wife. They invited me for lunch, and they told me their entire story, how they got together and everything. And then they were like, I think before you leave, you'll find the right person. Now, in my head, I'm like, I hope everything all of you people are saying is right, because you're all anointed, so this really has to work out, because I don't know. But he didn't know I was going to CMAR yet. So I have a meeting with him and AJ, and I tell him I'm going to Denver. And the funniest things that they do is that they write me a list. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. If you're single, can you please raise your hand? Don't be ashamed. It's okay. Just raise your hand if you're single. Okay, cool. I want you to take notes now. This is where you take notes. The most important part of the entire speech. This is where you take notes.